It started like any other night, with the hum of my computer filling the dark room. The glow from the screen was the only light, casting long, eerie shadows across my tiny apartment. The smell of stale coffee lingered in the air, but I barely noticed. My mind was elsewhere, consumed by an idea that had been gnawing at me for days. I'd heard whispers about it in online forums, the kind of places you only find when you're already wandering too deep into the internet's darker corners. A casino, they said, hidden in the depths of the dark web. It wasn't your average gambling site, not even close. This place was different. The stakes were higher, the risks greater. Some claimed it was cursed, that people who played there often disappeared, leaving behind nothing but empty bank accounts and ruined lives. But I didn't care about the rumors. I was broke, unemployed, and desperate. The bills were piling up, my girlfriend had just left me, and I was drowning in debt. The idea of making a quick fortune was too tempting to resist. Besides, I'd always considered myself lucky. I played online poker and blackjack before, even won a few grand here and there. I figured I could handle whatever this casino had to offer. I spent days trying to find it. The dark web is a labyrinth of hidden sites and encrypted messages, a place where you have to know what you're looking for or risk getting lost forever. I followed thread after thread, piecing together clues, each one leading me deeper into the unknown. Finally, I found the casino. It was called The Abyss. The name alone sent a shiver down my spine, but I pushed the feeling aside. The website's homepage was simple, a black background with a single line of text in blood-red font. Enter the Abyss at your own risk. Below it, there was a button marked Play. I hesitated for a moment, my finger hovering over the mouse. Something about this felt wrong, like I was about to step off a cliff into the unknown. But I had come this far, and there was no turning back now. I clicked play. The screen flickered, and then I was in. The casino's interface was sleek, almost elegant, with dim lighting and the sound of distant chatter. It looked like any other high-end casino, but there was an edge to it, something unsettling that I couldn't quite place. A list of games appeared before me: poker, blackjack, roulette, slots, and a few I'd never even heard of. Each one promised incredible rewards. I checked my balance, $5,000. I had just deposited everything I had left to my name. I took a deep breath and chose blackjack, my go-to game. The table appeared, and across from me was a dealer. He wore a black suit, his face shadowed beneath a low hat, his eyes obscured. The other players were avatars, their faces blank, expressionless. I was unnerved by the anonymity, but I brushed it off. This was just a game, after all. The first few hands went well. I doubled my money within minutes, the thrill of winning rushing through my veins. It felt too easy, like the game was rigged in my favor. I ignored the small voice in the back of my mind that told me to walk away while I was still ahead. Instead, I kept playing, drawn in by the allure of easy money. Then, things started to change. The dealer's shadowed face seemed to shift, his eyes flickering red beneath the brim of his hat. The avatars around me grew more lifelike, their blank faces slowly morphing into something else, something grotesque. I could feel their eyes on me, watching, waiting. My winning streak came to an abrupt halt. Suddenly, the cards were against me. I lost hand after hand, my $10,000 balance shrinking with each round. The feeling of dread that had been gnawing at me from the start began to grow. I should have stopped, but I was too deep in, too desperate to turn back. The other players started to chat, their messages appearing in a small box at the bottom of the screen. Their words were taunting, mocking. "You can't win here," one of them typed. "The house always wins," said another. Their words echoed in my mind, but I refused to believe them. I had to win. I just had to. I switched games, trying my luck at poker, then roulette. but it was the same story. Win a little, lose a lot. My balance dropped to $2,000, then $1,000. I was spiraling, the adrenaline turning into a sickening fear. The avatars around me were no longer just faceless figures. They were twisted, monstrous beings with eyes that glowed red in the dim light. Their laughter echoed in my ears, though the game's sound was turned off. I tried to quit, to close the window and shut down my computer, but the exit button was gone. I was trapped in the abyss, the game consuming me. My hands shook as I placed my final bet. All $1,000 on a single hand of blackjack. The cards were dealt. A 7 and a 9 for me, 16, and a 10 for the dealer. I took a hit, hoping for a 5 or a 4, anything to stay in the game. But the card that appeared was unlike any I'd ever seen. It wasn't just a regular playing card. It was pitch black, with a symbol etched into it that I couldn't decipher. The dealer smiled, a wide, unnatural grin that stretched across his face, revealing rows of sharp, gleaming teeth. "Game over," he said, his voice a low, guttural growl. The screen went black, and the room plunged into darkness. My heart raced as I frantically tried to reboot my computer, but it was dead. No power, no light, nothing. I was alone in the darkness, the only sound my own ragged breathing. Then, I heard it. A whisper. So faint, I almost missed it. It came from the speakers, even though the computer was turned off. The voices of the other players, the ones I thought were just avatars, filled the room. "Welcome to the Abyss," they chanted in unison. "Your soul is ours now." I scrambled to unplug the computer, but my hands passed through the cables as if they weren't there. Panic surged through me as I realized I couldn't feel anything. Not the desk, not the chair, not even my own body. It was like I was fading away, becoming a part of the darkness that surrounded me. The voices grew louder, more insistent, as the shadows in the room began to move. They crept closer, taking shape, their forms twisting into the grotesque figures I had seen in the game. They reached for me with clawed hands, their eyes burning with malevolent glee. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My body was no longer mine. It belonged to the abyss now. The last thing I saw before the darkness swallowed me whole was the dealer's face, his smile wide and cruel. "Welcome to your new home," he whispered. "You'll be staying with us for a very long time." The screen flickered back to life, but I wasn't there to see it. My name appeared in the chat box, just another lost soul trapped in the abyss, forever playing a game I could never win. And somewhere, in another dimly lit room, another desperate player hovered over their mouse, ready to click play, unaware of the fate that awaited them. If you ever decide to go wandering around the dark web and stumble across the casino, just remember my story, and always remember that the house always wins.